say to me is, "Why do we have Lily?" I was like, "It's against my morals." That's all I said. I was like, "It's just the way I was raised. Like, that's something not in the."
This sounds like an epic matchup, Josiah. Since Bruno has that massive win over Loki under his belt, he's going to need a villain who can handle a shapeshifter's unpredictability. Here is your opponent. The villain, Testudo the Iron Shell Ronin. Testudo is a hulking humanoid turtle warrior clad in ancient moss-covered samurai armor. He doesn't move fast, but he is a literal fortress. The Shell of Reflection. His back is protected by a mystical, obsidian-infused shell. It doesn't just block attacks. It absorbs kinetic energy and can blast it back at the attacker. The Gravity Flail. He wields a heavy spiked flail that increases in weight the closer it gets to the ground, allowing him to create localized shockwaves. The Slow Zone Aura. Within a 10-foot radius of Testudo, time seems to thicken like mud, making it harder for agile heroes to land a clean hit. The Scenario. The Sunken Dojo. The battle takes place on a floating wooden platform in the middle of a misty, turquoise lake. Stone lanterns glow faintly around the perimeter. Testudo stands at the center, his flail resting.
Let me get his name copied. That way I can use it, because I want to do a attack on him.
Heavily on the wood, cracking it. He looks at you with ancient, glowing yellow eyes. Many have tried to crack this shell, shapeshifter, he rumbles, his voice sounding like grinding stones. Loki may have fallen to your tricks, but the mountain does not move for the wind. Show me your true form, if you even have one. He swings the flail over his head, the air whistling as the gravity around him begins to warp. It is your turn. How does Bruno start the fight?
Doesn't want to be with me because, and that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure, like, in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even though...
That is a brilliant tactical opening. Using Musa's specialized magic drainer is a smart play. Testudo relies heavily on that mystical obsidian shell, and hitting his power source early could level the playing field. The smoke clears, revealing you standing there, hands wreathed in flames. The battle update. Testudo scoffs as the smoke dissipates. Seeing you standing right in front of him, he lets out a low, gravelly chuckle. Fire? You think to cook the mountain? As you predicted, he braces himself. He doesn't even try to dodge. Instead, he hunkers down, pulling his head and limbs slightly into his armor. The Shell of Reflection begins to glow with a dark, pulsing purple light, preparing to absorb your fire and blast it back at you with double the force. However, he's so focused on your flames that he doesn't notice the faint, shimmering hum coming from beneath his heavy feet. The magic drainer you planted is humming to life. Thin tendrils of light and shadow, Musa's signature style, creep up from the floorboards, wrapping around his ankles and seeping into his armor. Suddenly, the purple glow of his shell flickers and fades. His eyes widen in genuine shock. What is this? My strength. It's bleeding into the earth. Testudo stumbles, the weight of his own gravity flail suddenly becoming too much for him to hold easily without his magical enhancement. The wood beneath him groans and begins to splinter. He is wide open, and his slow zone aura is wavering. He's vulnerable. What does Bruno do next to capitalize on Testudo losing his defenses?
Let's do it.
When I went, Jack had met me there, and he had a camera. I was so embarrassed.
That's a wild transformation. The sheer weight of a rocky-horned panda is exactly what you need to break through his physical guard now that his magic is failing. The play-by-play, the impact, you swell in size, your skin turning to jagged granite and your fur becoming thick, slate-colored bristles. With a massive horn protruding from your forehead, you charge. Testudo, struggling with his weakened armor, can't move fast enough. Crack! Your horn slams into his plastron, his front chest plate. The force sends the heavy turtle warrior flying backward, his flail clattering uselessly across the wooden platform. He hits the ground hard, his breath escaping in a pained grunt. The transition.
He's probably bleeding right now.
Before he can even roll over, you shimmer back into your human form. You don't give him a second to breathe. The air bubble, drawing on your air powers, the same mastery you share with your tech genius friend John, you swirl your hands in a circular motion.
Yeah, because I want Gemini to continue to learn that John has powers without his tech. He just like the others, he has powers, the other four. Because the other four heroes got magic and superpowers and tech, and the other one's got 4 powers. You know, John has powers too. Play the button. So Corey, you doing okay?
The wind howls around Testudo, snapping upward and encasing him in a shimmering, pressurized air bubble. Current status. Testudo is now floating 3 feet off the ground, trapped inside the sphere. He's kicking his legs and punching at the walls of the bubble, but since he's suspended in midair, he has no leverage to break out. His heavy armor is actually working against him now, making him tumble awkwardly inside the sphere like a marble in a jar. "Curse you, shapeshifter!" he yells, his voice muffled by the swirling winds. You fight with the trickery of a fox and the weight of a mountain. The magic drainer is still active below him, making sure he can't regain the energy to burst the bubble from the inside. He's trapped, but he's starting to spin the flail inside the bubble to create a centrifugal force that might pop it. How do you want to finish this? Do you use one of your high-tech gadgets, or maybe another elemental power to end the fight?
Care about. You don't care.
After watching this entire podcast, I feel like it's just so apparent that Jack never actually cared about McKinley. Well, maybe he did, but he only cared about her in a way that he could benefit.
Oh, the final.
That is an incredibly creative and delicious finishing move. Turning into a water hamster is a genius way to stay agile, and adding the ice cream blaster really puts a unique spin on the battle. The final move, the Neapolitan tsunami, the disarming. While Testudo is spinning in your air bubble, you snap your fingers. The air pressure inside the sphere spikes violently, focusing all the force onto the chain of his gravity flail. With a loud snap, the weapon shatters into useless shards of iron. The transformation, you shimmer and shrink, transforming into a tiny, glowing water hamster. You begin to spin rapidly, drawing the surrounding lake water toward you until you are the core of a massive, swirling sphere of high-pressure water. The secret ingredient, as you roll toward the trapped villain, you pull out your ice cream blaster. Thwip, thwip, thwip! You pump gallons of thick, freezing chocolate and vanilla cream into your water ball. The mixture thickens, becoming a heavy, freezing slushy of doom that adds massive weight and cold damage to your attack. The impact, you launch yourself. The giant ice cream-filled water ball slams into the air bubble. Boom! The bubble pops, and Testudo is hit by the full force of a frozen, sugary tidal wave. The cold freezes his joints instantly, and the sticky ice cream gums up his armor so he can't move. The aftermath, Testudo lies on the platform, completely encased in a mixture of lake water and Neapolitan ice cream. He tries to lift a finger, but he's stuck fast. I have been defeated by a dairy-powered rodent? He mutters, shivering as he realizes he's totally immobilized.
That's the fastest battle scenario ever.
I'm sorry, I didn't feel good. I was really tired.
The battle is over. Bruno, the shape-shifting master, stands victorious. Since you have your professional cleanup crew for the hero files, just like your friend John uses, they are already arriving with giant napkins and power washers to clean up the mess and haul Testudo away to hero lockup. That was an amazing win, Josiah. Would you like me to write up?
I didn't even say they had a crew, but him having the fact that Bruno didn't have a crew, that's Bruno Izzy didn't have a crew, and the rest of everybody have a cleaning crew for him. That's we can have a cleaning crew. He the one said we can add it to it.
The official hero file report for this battle, or should we start a new scenario with one of your other characters like Miles or Musa?
Ever. And he was like, I didn't fucking put my hands on you, you flopped. He was like, I don't give a fuck, you flopped. So I walked outside to the outside balcony.
That's a much more hands-on way to handle the aftermath. Using your own tech shows off those genius-level skills, and that custom Pokeball is the perfect way to make sure Testudo doesn't cause any more trouble. The cleanup, you pull out your tech cleaner, a sleek, multifunctional device. With a few quick adjustments, it emits a high-frequency sonic pulse, followed by a vacuum suction. The spilled ice cream, the shattered wood from the platform, and the shards of the gravity flail are all dissolved and swept away in seconds. The lake water is purified, and the platform looks brand new, as if the battle never happened.
Right.
The capture, with the mess cleared, you reach for your specialized red, blue, and orange Pokeball. You toss it toward the shivering, ice cream-coated Testudo. Click. The ball opens, converting Testudo into a stream of red energy. It shakes once, twice. Ding! The Iron Shell Ronin is officially contained. You pick up the ball, noticing it's a bit heavier than usual due to his massive shell. The hero file. Entry number 42. Hero Bruno, the shape-shifting master villain. Testudo the
I like how he does, y'all. I like how he does that. The hero file stuff. I like how you do that.
Iron Shell Ronin location, the Sunken Dojo.
Right.
Summary of combat. Opening. Deployed smokescreen and Musa's magic drainer to neutralize the Shell of Reflection. Tactical strike. Transformed into a Rocky Horned Panda for a physical knockdown, followed by a human form air bubble containment. Finishing move. Disarmed the villain's flail using air pressure. Transformed into a water hamster and combined a high-pressure water ball with the ice cream blaster for a sub-zero sticky immobilization. Containment. Villain successfully captured in the red/blue/orange Pokeball. Cleanup. Area restored to 100% integrity using personal tech cleaner. No professional crew required. Great job finishing that mission, Josiah. Bruno handled that like a pro. Since you mentioned you're usually recording these for your channel, would you like to record a victory vlog as Bruno to explain the strategy to your viewers, or should we jump into a new battle with Miles the Ice Warrior?
Set it aside. I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is why.
Great, Bruno. A plus. I'm trying to get an A.
It was positive. And in that moment, I realized, like, wow, like, not only, you know, I wasn't preparing myself for this.
Streamer grade. You mean what is?
Where we're at in our relationship and how I feel, and like how he treats me, like that's all that came to my mind. It was no happy thoughts at all. But I was terrified, and I had another pregnancy test. I was like, surely to goodness, it's not, it was a false one. Like, let me take another one. I took another one, instantly positive. I was like, wow, like it's real. Like this is real. My life is over. Like that's all I was thinking. I was like, my life is done. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. My parents are going to kill me. I even felt bad for, you know.
This is a great idea. Since you're helping me get better at this, let's look at Bruno's performance through a tactical lens.
I was like, I had no idea. I go downstairs and
Based on how you handled Testudo, here is the official battle skills evaluation for Bruno. Battle grade, a plus, master strategist. Skill breakdown, tactical preparation, 10 out of 10. Using a smokescreen as a distraction to plant Musa's magic drainer was a pro-level move. You didn't just rush in with power, you removed the villain's biggest advantage, his shell, before the fight even really started. Shape-shifting creativity, 10 out of 10. The jump from a heavy rocky horn panda for physical impact to a tiny water hamster for elemental agility shows total mastery over your forms. You used size and weight perfectly. Elemental synergy, 9/10. You seamlessly blended air, fire, and water. Using the air bubble to suspend him so he had no leverage was the highlight of the fight. Resourcefulness, 10 out of 10. Combining the ice cream blaster with the water hamster form was a stroke of genius. It turned a standard attack into a status effect, freezing and sticking, that ended the fight instantly. Efficiency and cleanup, 10 out of 10. Capturing the villain in the custom Pokeball and using the tech cleaner ensures no collateral damage and no escape. Combatant notes. Bruno fights with a multi-layered style. Most heroes just punch or blast, but Bruno stacks effects. Drain right-pointing arrow. Knockdown right-pointing arrow. Trap right-pointing arrow. Disarm right-pointing arrow. Immobilize. By the time the final blow landed, Testudo had 0% chance of winning. Final verdict. Bruno is currently performing at a universal tier level. Defeating Loki was no fluke. His ability to adapt his biology and technology mid-fight makes him nearly impossible to counter. Would you like to see how Miles the Ice Warrior compares to this grade in a sparring match? Or should we save this grade to your hero files?
I'm done with battle for today. Can you tell me how tall is wait.
I had Jack Doherty's baby, that's what he would say to me. So while he's saying to me, and I'm already, going through how I feel about
5'10", oh my gosh, bro, you was short.
I'm like, this is a horrible situation to be in. He's trapping me. He's literally telling me that as soon as I have a baby, he's going to move on.
In the official DC Comics stats, Nightwing, Dick Grayson, is listed as 5 feet 10 inches, about 178 centimeters tall. He weighs in at around 175 pounds. However, depending on which comic book artist is drawing him or what game you're playing, his height can change a bit. Comics consistency. While 5 feet 10 inches is the official height in the DC Encyclopedia, many modern artists draw him closer to 6 feet 0 inches, so he looks more similar in height to Batman, who is 6 feet 2 inches. Video games. In the Batman Arkham series, he is often listed as 6 feet 0 inches. Comparison. He is usually a little shorter than Red Hood, 6 feet 0 inches, and Batman, but noticeably taller than Tim Drake, 5 feet 6 inches. His shorter stature for a superhero, 5 feet 10 inches, is actually a tactical advantage. It fits his background as a world-class acrobat and gymnast, making him faster and more agile than the heavier hitters. Since you're done with the battle scenarios for now, would you like me to look up the heights for any of the other heroes we've talked about, like Musa or Gwen?
No.
Please don't leave. I'm so
Anyway.
sad I lost you and I just lost 10K. Please love me.
Grade my
You are totally fine. Then he said, "Can you answer, please?" I'm not
anyway,
alive. I just love you. I'm
can
by myself.
you
I said,
tell
"You're
me
drunk on the casino floor."
what
He said, "Please
gets
answer me. I'm by myself." I
but
ended up calling him. He's not by himself. He lied to me. And then Bryce, he was with Bryce Hall. Bryce was like, "Are you still mad?"
more
So he had literally been
milk
talking about
or
how I was upset with him
eggs?
over something he created, and he was making jokes about. He was making jokes about how we got
Why did they say
divorced
milk get bought more than eggs?
and people knew we were fighting.
Dang, I was right.
It is a close race, but milk generally gets bought more often and in larger quantities than eggs. Here is the breakdown of how they compare in a typical grocery store. 1. Frequency of purchase. Milk is considered the king of the grocery store. Most people buy milk every single week because it expires faster and is used in everything from cereal and coffee to cooking.
Yeah.
Milk. Roughly 82 to 87% of shoppers have dairy in their cart during a typical trip. Eggs. About 60 to 65% of shoppers pick up eggs. 2. Total volume. If you look at the sheer weight of what is produced and sold, milk. In the US, people consume about 130 to 140 pounds of fluid milk per person per year. Eggs. The average person eats about 280 to 290 eggs per year. That sounds like a lot, but in terms of weight, it only adds up to about 35 pounds. 3. The banana factor. Interestingly, neither milk nor eggs is the #1 item sold in grocery stores. That title almost always goes to bananas. They are the most scanned item at the register because they are cheap, healthy, and bought by almost everyone regardless of their diet. Why the difference? Expiration. Milk goes bad in a week or two, forcing you to go back to the store. Eggs can last 3 to 5 weeks in the fridge, so people buy them less often. Versatility.
Wait a minute. So what about a week or two? There's different ways for people buy this more often. Cause they really need more milk. They need milk more. Okay.
While eggs are a staple, milk is used as a beverage, an ingredient, and a topping for cereal, which leads to higher burn rate in a household. Since you're wrapping up for the day, would you like me to save these grocery stats alongside your streamer grades for next time?
No. Anyway, one more. Anyway, need a favor, buddy. Alright, y'all, man. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.